to you for hours about it, but I think what I'm kind of looking at big picture, and I'm sure you are too at this point in your career, like how do you have maximum impact in the game, as well as how do you have an impact to the player? And I think your focus on languaging and communication and how you provide cues and how you provide feedback, I think that's where we transform the game. And I think, to the point of the last question, that's where you have the maximum impact on the girls, because they want to talk, they want to know more, they want it to be conversational. So I'm curious, obviously you're working, with the Leafs, and you're coordinating between what the bench coaches want and maybe what you want the strength and conditioning coaches to do to get the skills you want out of it. Like, how are you sharing that language? Right? You can't necessarily tell everyone to read the book, but how do you
No,
get them to use the same words and the same understanding? Because I think that's where you get consistency and transformation.
you are correct in that that is how you get consistency. The difficulty that I have is in a team or organizational environment, you're going to use consistent terms in which some of which you might have coined, some of which you might have, you might be using from whatever, and you have to, kids are coming from all different places, and one place they hear jab turn, the other place they hear stop turn, the other place they hear, and you need to say, no, for us it's this, 100%. Where it gets interesting and where I've always, and I have to adhere to that when you're in an organization, whatever it's called, that's what it's called. However, where it gets interesting for me, and which is where I feel like I've had the maximum impact with an individual player, is when I personalize the term. So you're right, as an organization, you don't want to have 6 different phrases for the same activity or the same thing. You're absolutely right. However, the hard part about that is where I've made really big gains with my players, and I do it with my own kid, is personalizing the term. So I'll give you an example. One of the things we were working on with Ella 2 years ago was she's a defenseman, and I told her, I don't want you skating backwards as much as you do. You should be, the way you skate, you should skate forwards more and defend skating forwards. And people shouldn't even get out of their own zone. They shouldn't get past the red line. And you're backing up and let them skate 3 zones, and then you want to make a play at the top of the circle. What I want you to do is I want you to attach to your check. If you're the weak side forward, weak side D, you just go down and attach. You're not scared of any player, of how they skate. You know you can skate with them. So just come down and attach to them and challenge them to see if they can beat you in a foot race. And then get yourself in there where you can defend skating forwards, and let's feel comfortable. Now, we call that, Ella and I call that Ella Island. That's Ella Island. If I'm coming and attaching to you, you're now on my island, and I tell you when you're getting the puck. But you're going to be, if you do get it, you're going to be by yourself. There's no help. I'm right there. So that's really powerful, and we use that with her a lot, Ella Island. Now, on a team, that's called, rush defense, early attachment. Like there's a term that you're going to use. But with her, I call it, it's resonated with her. When I was using the quote unquote like clinical or team terms, it didn't resonate as much as when I said it's Ella Island. So where I think it's interesting on a language perspective is creating your organization to which you have these exact terms. Like if it's early take, if it's swing in, if it's whatever you're calling it, you call it that. But then when there's a kid who's either struggling with it, or it's something that they're really good at or whatever, and you need to like bubble it up to the surface of their conscience, find a way to personalize it. And I think that that's the rub. The trouble is trying to not make it so it blends it for the rest of the kids on the group, So now that they start calling it Ella Island. Do you know what I mean? That's the tricky part and that's why language is so important.
That's great.
A lot of time on language.
Yeah. Okay. One quick follow up there, Kim, and then we'll go to Mo.